everyone. This is Sharon with Entelechy Visions, and this is an energy update for the week of August 31st through September 6th. So we are finishing up these summer months, and we are now heading into the start or the arrival of the autumn season in September. We're entering a turning point. And the month begins right off the bat with a very powerful full moon in the sign of Pisces. It lies on September 1st or September 2nd, just depending on where you are in the world. And full moons are always about completions, a completion of a cycle. And if you also look at the number of September is the number 9, which also represents the last number in a cycle. So 9 is that last number before it carries over into the 1 month, which is all about more of a new beginning. And so this completion of the entire month will hold that theme where we may find ourselves and in the world kind of reworking or revisiting a lot of different themes and also things that have already transpired throughout the year, especially as we head into the Mars retrograde season, which begins at the start of September, around the second week of this month. So with the Mars retrograde, it's going to be highlighting a lot of those themes and really allowing them to amplify a little bit more as a revisit, to really go over the same ground of what we have been through this year, to really look at and address all of the lessons that we have learned, and to make sure that we have really learned them, to make sure that we have integrated or gone over the depth of the changes that really need to be made through this. So as we start the beginning of the month with this full moon, it will also be a bit of a checkpoint for our lives. And it will invite you on a personal level to really address what you've been doing in your life, not just in the course of this year, but kind of up until this point, to really address what you've been involved in, what you are spending your time on, and kind of reassessing that and looking at all the many layers of what you are currently doing in your life and the vision that you're working towards. And asking yourself, is there something that needs to shift with that? As we have gone through the course of the summer and all of the fire of that season and the creation energy of Leo season, and really fueling our visions with that, this is a good time period to really kind of pause for a moment and just make sure, are you on the right path? Is this something that you really want to be fueling your energy toward? Is this something that you still want to remain involved in? Whether that is some kind of project, some kind of larger vision, and it can be as involved as your intimate connections, your relationships, maybe reassessing your friendships, as all of the relationships throughout this year have gone through quite a bit of perspective shifts with our times in social distancing, and also with all that's kind of transpired in the world. Maybe there's been a lot of heated tensions in certain connections that have emerged truths within those relations, and really kind of tapping into your own heart space and asking yourself, is this something that I still want to be connected to? Is this something that I still want to be involved in? Because everything and everyone that we are connected to in our life ultimately becomes part of us, ultimately becomes a reflection or a mirror of some kind of behavior or something that we are integrating and adapting to within our own selves. So really being very discerning in these times of what you are choosing to connect to and who you're choosing to connect to, because that ultimately becomes you. It becomes part of you. So is there something that you need to release at this time? Is there something that has become maybe a burden or something that feels weighing upon you at this time? This is a good moment to really check in with all of that and see what can be shifted. And even if it's not a complete letting go of something or a severing of ties, maybe it's something that can be readdressed. Maybe you're shifting your vision a little bit so that the path looks slightly different, something that adapts more to these times. Because with all that we have gone through throughout this entire year, we have changed so much. We have changed in the world, we have changed in our daily routines, in our lives. We have changed within on a personal level, our perspective, what we hold true for ourselves. So much has rippled out throughout this entire year that we may not even realize the depth of how this year is changing us. And so we're at that point in the year where it's time to really reassess what is true for us, what is true for us within, really reassessing what our body needs, what our vision needs, what our life path ahead needs, and also that connection to everything, everyone, and the entire planet. And I know that's a tall order, and we don't exactly have to know all the answers right now. But this is a time of reflection around that, to really go within and just do that check-in with yourself, to revisit it, and to not be afraid to look at some of the truths that arise for you in this moment. And the beginning of this month and this Pisces full moon will really support that process. And as we go even further into this month and this kind of slow down of energy with the Mars retrograde beginning, will even further allow us to enter into that phase of reassessment, of refinement. So within this deep questioning of this current period, you may find that things begin to shift for you, that over the course of the next several months, more clarity arises around the puzzle pieces that are needed for your path ahead. And you may have found that you have even questioned things over the course of this entire year, and especially through the summer as we've kind of allowed the dust to settle a little bit more and we've become more acquainted with the changes that have taken place, and we've begun to integrate them and to accept them, that we've had time to really question. Maybe it's something as big as a location shift of where you are living, or something that is completely changing with what you are doing in the world, your career, your life purpose. So this is a very big transition period right now that we are in. And it may feel a little bit like an in-between phase. And you may find that there is this kind of antsiness still because we haven't exactly had an enormous outlet for all of that kind of pent-up suppression that we have felt rather caged in by all of these circumstances that we are living within right now. So with that, you may find that there is a sense of impatience, and you may find that you want to express that more and allow your focus, your vision to go full throttle, that you really want to maybe get out of Dodge or go full force with your project, with your vision, or do something erratic because you're feeling so suppressed, or because there is this kind of pent up antsiness. But this is a time to slow down and to continue with the patience. And I know that is easier said than done, because this entire year has really asked a lot from us to be patient. That it has really continued to ask for that strength, even when we felt as though our reserves were maybe running dry at this point. So to cultivate more patience at this point may feel really daunting, but that's the very thing that's going to get you through this moment, is to really come back to the present moment, to really use your breath, and to really appreciate presently where you are, what you have, and to know that as you breathe into your present moment, it will help to alleviate the suffering that you may be experiencing with the future unknowns. Because our minds are really that space of suffering. We go into that place when we are feeling fearful or anxious, and we may not know how things are going to play out. But the moment that we come back and we use our breath as a tool, and we know that the present moment is all we really do have, that this is the most important moment, this is the most important piece of our existence, is to be in this moment. That is the very tool that will carry you through any uncertainty, any doubt, any anxiousness that may be arising if your mind is going into future possibilities or what ifs. So just pull your attention back into this moment, and to really reassess where you have been and what you are now, and see how you can make any adjustments from this anchoring point in this now. And that will really assist you, not just in this moment, but as the weeks pan out, and this quite powerful period as we move through this Mars retrograde that is going to shape our lives for this month and the next several months. So with this transition period, we may find ourselves kind of scanning over some more tedium in our lives, because Virgo season is really inviting that kind of focal point on the details of our lives. And I know for me, I'm not a big fan of details, that I operate a little bit more on that intuitive and creative side of things, but it is a very, very important piece. So as we have used our creativity and the fire of the summer, it's now time to just look at the tangible, logistical reality of our lives and see the shifts that we can make, or something that can be altered. And within that place of really getting clear on this refinement or these details, we can find that we have more of an infinite power of strength within that place. Because then we feel empowered as we get clearer on our path ahead, we get clearer on our visions, and to allow it to emerge, that there's nothing to force in these times, to be very gentle with how it occurs for you, that there's nothing that you have to figure out. It's more an allowing, but also finding that balance between allowing and doing as well. So with that, we are adapting now to how things are looking. And as we adapt and we embrace how things are now, we can learn to accept that it's time to create a new way, that it's time to create a newer vision. So with that being said, I would like to share the channeled message as that ties into the message for this week, and to remind us to hold strong to that place of patience and to come back to that now moment whenever you find yourself moving forward into the future or having some anxiousness or fear that arises, to know that you are safe and to know that the now is the most important place that you need to be. This is a transition period, an in-between phase where time may be feeling slowed down, but much is stirring in that space. Great details are being done, an enormous feat of cultivating greater patience. When there is only a continuation of a situation, strength is drawn from the reserves, and we realize the infinite power of our strength. Escapism and our normal life routines were never normal, just a pattern of living. As we adapt to what life is like now, after the summer allowed it all to simmer, we rewrite the book of our lives toward a new chapter that we've never written before. It's exciting yet daunting because we're all writing the book together. We can't go back in the story, only forward as we pave a path written in the collection of our own truths combined. So I'll leave you with that message for this week. I hope that you have a beautiful month ahead, a happy full moon. And if you do need additional support at this time, I'm continuing to offer remote sessions and in-person sessions. You can learn more about my services at enteleckyvisions.com. I invite you to like and subscribe to this channel, as it does help to support the channel. And I thank you for being part of this community. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and thank you for listening.